Page 63, boom boom, ain't it great to be crazy. On page 62, have some prep, you do the prep stuff, I don't cover it, but they have a new note, an A flat. This is in the bass clef, and A, if you recall, have we had an A yet? I don't know if we had. An A is the top line on a bass clef. And on a piano, the A is here. The middle C is here, you just go down to the A below. We've had an A in treble clef already. This is an A in the bass clef. Except this A has a flat sign. That little weird looking sign there, that's a flat sign. And that means instead of playing an A, you play an A flat. And an A flat, just go down one to here. And that's an A flat. It's the middle note on a group of three is an A flat. It has other names besides A flat. Don't worry about that. Don't get confused. Just stay focused on what we're thinking about here. It's an A flat. So when you see that note in the music, you'll play that key on the piano. In boom boom, the A flat's in the last line where you have your left hand's in this position, has been all along, and you simply cross over the thumb like we did in the right hand, and you get the A flat there. So, type thing. So remember we crossed over the thumb to get the B? Well, we have to cross over the thumb here too. I mean, fair is fair, you know. But here it's just a black key. Again, don't do any twisting or any fancy maneuvering to do this. You just relax and you just move over the thumb. But hopefully you can relax and get over the thumb if you need to. And here you just... So, on boom boom, it has a pickup beat. We're coming in on beat 4. The last measure of the piece got 3 beats in it, so it's all good, it works out. And the right hand. Talk about the right hand. Eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. Second line, last measure, you got to come up, just the whole hand comes up here. You got 1 beat rest to move up here, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and rest. And then in the third line for the second measure, you're coming back down. You got 1 beat rest, you got time to just move down. That's pretty much it for the right hand. For the left hand, you're in this position, thumbs on G, and you're just playing these, and then the F and the G. You got a lot of rest going on. Third line down, last measure, you got a 1 and 2 and 3 and boom, boom, boom. Now you have a parenthesis around this note, the last note on the third line here, and there's parentheses around the word boom above it. Well, typically in music, when parentheses is around a note or around something, it's a courtesy note of some sort. It's just you know, the parentheses don't really mean anything to us, is what I'm saying. But there's a note at the bottom of page 62 explaining that what they want you to do is they want you to play that note only the first time. Because you're going to repeat this. I'll get to the repeat in a minute, but you're going to repeat it and play it again. And when you play it the second time, you don't play that G, you rest. There's other and better ways of notating this, but that it means you got to learn some more symbols and stuff that we haven't covered yet. So right now they're just using parentheses and a footnote to tell you what to do. So play the G the first time, but don't play it the second time. And then in the last line, you're here on the left hand, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, like so. Then you put the hands together. Here, starting the C position. 4 and, remember, coming on beat 4. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. The second line, second measure, you're here. Then move up. The left hand stays where it's at, just the right hand moves up. the right hand has to move down. As you play that G, move the right hand down. And now both hands are playing together. 1, 2, and so forth. Last line. 1, 2, 1. Like so. Now the repeat sign. Now I told you before, on a repeat sign, you go back to the beginning and play that part again. Well, we have to adjust that rule because that's not really the rule for repeat sign. You notice at the beginning there's a repeat sign facing the other way. We call it a reverse repeat sign. That catches. When you go back to the beginning, that catches it. In other words, you don't go back to the beginning. If there's a reverse repeat sign, you go back to the reverse repeat sign, not the beginning. So the rule is, when you get to a repeat sign, you go back to a reverse repeat sign and play that part again. If there's no reverse repeat sign, then you go back to the beginning and play it again. And that's really, and that, you can rely on that from now on. It's not going to change any. So we're just going to play that part again. So if you think about it, that G in parentheses makes sense because it's a pickup note at the beginning. It's a pickup note. Well, when you repeat it down at the bottom, you're here, you need to play that pickup note again. That's why you play it the first time. But when you go on, you don't need the pickup note. You just rest. So there's no pickup note if you go on. And that's why you're only playing the G the first time. It says joyfully. This is a happy song. It's probably a drinking song. It's not if you're underage. It's not a drinking song. It's just, so it's just, if you were going to sing it, how fast would you sing it? And then the last line. So forth. It's a fun piece. I'd like to play this with you slowly. I'm not going to bother with the singing. You can do the singing. I'll give us 3 counts. We are going to do the repeats. We always do the repeats. 1 and ready and go and 1 and. Rest. Rest. Repeat. Rest. 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 Rest.